What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video. And let me tell you, there is a lot that goes into this video, but it's the video you have been asking for. The Huawei Mate X5 versus the Honor Magic V2 versus the Vivo X Fold 3. Yes, the world's thinnest, the world's most expensive, and the world's cheapest foldable devices go head to head. Let's go! Now, I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. It could be 10 minutes, it could be 30. But rest assured, I am going to try to cover as many points as possible while showing you every inch of each of these phones because, well, they deserve it. Now, if you appreciate the effort I put into the video, as always, you can join the private WhatsApp group chat where we chat a lot about tech, mostly people trying to sell and buy phones. And obviously there's the monthly giveaway where I just gave away, turns out both of them wanted the Tank M3 Ultra smartwatch, so I'm sourcing another one. So you can be in with a shout to win cash or tech prizes every month if you sign up to buy me a coffee. Now, the phones. I am going to go a bit off script here and talk about the price first, because I did mention that this is the world's most expensive versus the world's cheapest foldable phone. Now, I am going to give you the retail prices for each of these devices. For the Huawei Mate X5, you are looking at round about £2,000 to £2,500. Yes, that wasn't a stutter. Depending on your country, taxes, custom fees, you could pay as much as £2,500 for the 1TB collector's edition that I have here. If you're just looking for the non-collector's half terabyte, you can pick that up for around about £1,800 to £2,000, including fees. Now the Honor Magic V2, this is the Chinese ROM version, so you will import it from WONDA Mobile. And for the half terabyte version with 16 gigabytes of RAM, you're looking at around £1,100 or so. And then for the Vivo X Fold 3, again from WONDA Mobile, the link is always in the description, folks, and I always get $10 for every sale through that link, full disclosure. And you can get the X Fold 3 half terabyte version for a little over £1,000, including delivery. So price-wise, the Vivo and the Honor are almost half the cost of the Huawei Mate X5. So let's find out if the Huawei is double the phone. Well, let's talk about dimensions and weight. Each of these devices are incredibly impressive. Please keep in mind that we have 2 screens, big batteries, triple camera setups, all the latest and greatest chips and hardware, software, everything included, all within 11 millimeters or less. Yes, the Huawei comes in at the thickest at about 11 millimeters folded and 5.2 millimeters unfolded. Then there's the Vivo. It comes in at 10.2 millimeters folded and 4.7 millimeters unfolded. But then there's the V2 that just takes it to absurd levels. Folded, 9.9 millimeters. Unfolded, 4.6 millimeters. Just, yeah, mind-blowing dimensions when you consider that every one of these devices has a minimum 5,000 milliamp hour battery inside. 2 dual batteries inside. And then there's the weight. Again, another super impressive feat from 3 of these manufacturers. The Huawei is not only the thickest, it's the heaviest, coming in at 252 grams. Now, for those that think, man, that's a brick, 1/4 kilo for a mobile phone is not incredibly heavy. For example, if you own an iPhone 14 Pro Max and slap a case on it, or heck, don't slap a case on it, it's going to be around 250 grams. But the Honor comes in lighter at 245 grams for the Honor Magic V2. And then the lightest of them all, weighing in at 231 grams. Folks, that's almost the same weight as the newest S24 Ultra without a case and the newest iPhone 15 Pro Max. Titaniums for the Samsung and iPhone. Yeah, only about 5 to 8 grams between the X Fold 3, a foldable phone, and the iPhone and the S24 Ultra. So about 20 grams between the Huawei and the Vivo. Not looking good in terms of weight and dimensions for the Huawei compared to the Vivo. But let's talk about all the other aspects. For example, the displays. Now, display-wise, all very similar. 3 of them sporting some of my favourite form factors on foldable devices. To be honest, there's only really one form factor I don't like, and you all know this, it's the Samsung. The Z Fold 2, 3, 4 and 5 are just far too narrow on the outer cover screen. But the Huawei is 6.4 inch diagonal. The Honor Magic V2 is also a 6.4 inch diagonal, and coming in at the biggest is the Vivo at 6.5 inch. So looking at the Vivo here, you can see this is effectively just a normal slab phone or candy bar phone, whatever you want to call it, folded. The outer cover screen is perfect for typing, viewing content in landscape mode, and with the hole punch on all of these phones, there is nothing too obtrusive to interrupt your content pleasure. And the same goes for the Huawei and indeed the V2. The one thing I would say specs-wise is brightness is better on the Vivo, coming in at 2,500 nits, and then you've got the Huawei and the Honor coming in at roughly 1,600 nits. To be honest, you're rarely going to notice this in the naked eye or in normal lighting conditions, but if you're in direct sunlight, the Vivo's outer and inner screen are going to be the brightest of all 3. And speaking of the inner screens, again, the Vivo's largest, 8.03 inches, the Honor's 7.9 inches, and the smallest, Huawei, 7.85 inches. All super sharp, super bright, just beautiful displays for consuming content or using the larger screen for productivity, multitasking. However you want to use your inner screen, have at it. Safe in the knowledge that all 3 of these devices have 3 of the least noticeable and feelable, if that's a word, creases. As you can see here, you'll struggle to see any crease other than in direct light at certain angles when viewing content. And when you're running your finger over it, it has to be said that the newest phone of the 3, the Vivo, has the least feelable and noticeable crease. But all 3 do a fantastic job implementing this hinge on such thin devices. Now, speaking of the hinge, you can also have your display in different modes. You can have it closed, fully open, you can have it like a tent. All 3 of these have tent mode. And actually, side note, the Vivo and the Honor have some really cool always-on display tent modes. It automatically knows when your phone is in this mode and it will turn on the clock or day, or you can change it to photos. Unfortunately, the Huawei doesn't have this mode. And there's a 4th mode on all devices, Flex Mode. I made a separate video about Flex Mode on the Vivo X Fold 3. However, most, if not all, foldables have this mode these days, and super handy. Ultimately, it leaves the bottom half of the screen as a trackpad, or for you to view the comments, or even to multitask and check another app while you're using the YouTube content on the top screen. Use Flex Mode however you like, but for this video, you can be sure that all 3 of these phones have a Flex Mode included. The other major benefit if you're a photographer for Flex Mode is simply set a timer on your device, rest your phone on a wall or a fence or wherever you want to rest it in Flex Mode, and you'll be able to use your device as a tripod without needing to carry a tripod. Now, as far as internals, things do get a slightly different between the Huawei. You guessed it, it's not conventional. It's the Huawei's internal proprietary Kirin 9000S chip. And folks, Performance wise, I have never noticed any lags or issues with overheating or battery issues. The chip's really good. However, it's based on a 7nm processor, unlike the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 you can find in the Vivo and in the Honor. Yes, they both share the same chipset with the Adreno 740 GPU, and you all know how I feel about Snapdragon. About 3 years ago, Snapdragon overtook Apple Silicon as the best SoC in the market, and with the 8 Gen 1, the 8 Gen 2, and now the 8 Gen 3, they just keep killing the game. So congrats to Snapdragon. I do have to give the power, efficiency, and chipset round, if you like, or points to the Honor and Vivo here. And I touched on this earlier, but battery-wise, capacity, the least capacity can be found on the Honor. However, it is still a 5,000 mAh battery. That's going to get you a day and a half of medium to heavy usage on a single charge. And when you need to charge, it's only wired at 66 watts. As for the Vivo, it's the largest battery. It's 5,400 mAh, and paired with the 8 Gen 2 chip, you can stretch this to 2 days of medium to heavy usage. And I've talked about this before in my Vivo X Fold 3 versus X Fold 3 Pro video. The efficiency of the 8 Gen 2 paired with the 5,400 mAh battery is actually better than that of the 8 Gen 3 with a slightly larger battery in the X Fold 3 Pro. I guess they've had a year longer to get it right, and my goodness, they get it right. I have never had to charge this phone within 2 days. It's always been a 2-day phone for me, and I've had it nearly a month now. And then there's a Huawei. As mentioned, not a Snapdragon chip, so not as efficient. It's a 5,060 mAh battery on here, and it's a solid 1-day medium to heavy usage phone. But you ain't getting as much out of this as you can on the Honor, and you're probably only getting half the battery life out of this compared to the Vivo X Fold 3 standard version. Now again, just a quick reminder, I am trying to reach 40,000 subscribers by December 1st. If I make it to that number, if you comment in this video here what phone you would like, one of you will be selected at random, and I will send you that phone, brand new, sealed, straight to your doorstep. And the only catch is, I must hit 40,000 subscribers by December 1st. So get sharing, get subscribing if you haven't already, and let's get back to the video. Now, I'm not going to go too much into detail or depth when it comes to the cameras. I have done dedicated camera tests. I will do a dedicated camera test between the X5 and the X Fold 3 Pro. However, looking at the usual average dad bedroom window shots from ultra wide to 1x to their optical zoom ranges and their max zoom, things aren't looking completely rosy for the Huawei here. Now, you can tell me what you think. Please rewind and check again. But looking at these photos, all three, in my opinion, smashed the ultra-wide, wide, and their optical zoom lens. Now, optical zoom on the Vivo is 2x. Optical zoom on the Honor is 2.5x, and optical zoom on the Huawei is 5x. So yes, at that 5x range, the Huawei is going to smash zoom shots as it does at 10x. However, all three of these phones do 10x. And if you rewind, you'll see it. I can't tell much of a difference between them. And at max zoom, 50x on all three phones. Again, you can tell me your thoughts in the comments below, but I'm giving max zoom to the Vivo. And I have talked about this in every single Vivo video I do where I discuss cameras. Vivo have consistently been the best camera phone manufacturer for years now. People just don't know about them in the Western market as well as they do Samsung, Oppo, or Apple. But trust me, Vivo's processing, their filters, their different photo styles, the Zeiss lenses, everything just comes together to produce, well, again, I've done many camera videos on the X100 Pro and the X Fold 3 and the X Fold 3 Pro, so you can go ahead and check them out. But trust me when I say the Vivo consistently wins camera battles. And just in these small 4 or 5 photos from each phone, I'm going to say Vivo wins this as well. Now, the other thing I want to discuss, it's kind of the elephant in the room with all three phones. As mentioned, all three of these phones are Chinese ROM devices. But even with the Huawei folks, that should not put you off. The Huawei gets, because of Harmony OS 4.2 beta update, you can download the MicroG app straight from the Huawei store. There's a video that I've posted before about this in my last Huawei video. Watch that, it'll tell you step by step what to do. But once you've done it, as you can see on my X5, all Google apps, the Google Play Store, including Google as an account on the phone. When I go to users and accounts on the Huawei, Google shows. And the same is true for the Honor and the Vivo. Google shows in the users and accounts. The Honor Magic V2 has had an update direct from Honor to give me Google Mobile Services, which instantly puts the Play Store on your device. Everything works. Google Pay works on the Honor Magic V2 Chinese ROM. Notifications come through on time, in real time, on every one of these devices. And from the Honor and the Vivo, you can just download the Play Store directly from the Vivo or Honor App Store. Having a Chinese ROM has never been easier. And I know it's not this, but I do like to think that my videos have somehow helped. To give you some context, my videos and channel are predominantly based on Chinese ROM devices, and I am about to hit 2 million views on the channel. That's a lot of eyeballs seeing Chinese ROMs in full flow. I would like to think that the European, American and UK markets have grown a tiny bit, maybe significantly, over the past couple of years of this channel, because I think it's directly impacted on what we get in terms of Google Mobile Services. I've talked about this before. Our consistent pushing and harassing of Honor to get GMS on the V2 paid off. At first it was a beta program update, and now it's just there. On Magic OS 8, Google Mobile Services are built in. So, fair play to you, and a bit of credit to me, I think. We're making changes. So Chinese ROM wise, it's the same that applies to every single one. As much as we try, you're not going to get Android Auto to work easily, and smartwatch connectivity for any Wear OS 4 or later device isn't going to work. You can get some older Wear OS devices to connect. However, just buy a Cosbit Tank M3 Ultra from my link in the description. What a fantastic smartwatch for under £100. Absolute beast. So, I said I didn't know how long this video would be, but I still need to summarise my actual thoughts. Until the Vivo X Fold 3 and X Fold 3 Pro came along, I have told everyone the Huawei Mate X5 has the best hardware, has the best cameras. It's not worth the full price, but it's worth a premium. That was until the Vivo X Fold 3 and X Fold 3 Pro came along. If you look back at this video, subtly, in every category, from battery to display to software to even cameras, the Vivo might just outpip the Huawei. And folks, this is just the Vivo standard version. The Pro, while incremental, does have slightly better cameras. So, Huawei, ball's in your court. And Honor, you're not forgotten. You were the first one to go under a centimetre for a folded device. You were the first one to really get me super excited about what foldable phones can be. And to this day, this is the 7th V2 I have owned and held in my hand. I still get that nice tingly feeling when I hold the V2, and it still amazes me what they can do in such a thin device. But for me, I'm sure you've guessed, the overall winner, the one that gets my vote, the one that has my SIM card back in it, is the Vivo X Fold 3. Now I know you might not all agree with me, and let me know in the comments if you don't. I am always happy to chat and debate. You know the really cool thing about this is, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, we could never have made this video. There weren't 3 amazing foldable phones to compare against each other. There were maybe not even 2. Was there even a comparison available we could do 3 years ago? But now, today, heck, I could have made this video 7 foldable phones. Because this doesn't include the OnePlus Open, the Z Fold 5, the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3, the Google Pixel Fold. My God, we might be in a foldable phone market where there are genuinely 7 or 8 viable choices. And I am all for it. I really appreciate your support. We are well over 23,000 subscribers now. We are nearly at 2 million views for the channel. The Buy Me a Coffee membership is still going strong. I'm trying to get as many people that are on YouTube members over to there as well to stop YouTube robbing me my revenue. If you've enjoyed this video, please smash like. I'll be back soon with more content on, yes, you guessed it, some foldable devices. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Until next time.